Think about the last time someone was watching you. A manager walking past your desk, a stranger at the gym, a group of people in a meeting. Notice what happened. Something shifted. Your posture changed. Your effort increased. Your focus sharpened. You became a slightly better version of yourself. Now think about yesterday morning, alone, no audience, no one watching, no one to perform for. Who showed up then? Because here is the truth most men spend their entire lives avoiding: the version of you that exists when nobody is watching. That is not the background version. That is the real one. And for most men, that version is someone they would be ashamed to introduce. Not because they are bad people, because they have built a life on performance and quietly forgotten how to exist without an audience. Epictetus saw this clearly, a man born into slavery, who had nothing to perform for, no status to protect, no audience to impress. And he became the freest man in Rome. Not because his circumstances changed, because he stopped needing anyone to watch. That is the most dangerous ability a man can develop, and almost no one builds it. Chapter 1. Two versions of the same man. Daniel is at the gym, 6 p.m. The place is full. He moves differently here, heavier weights, shorter rest periods, better form. Someone glances at him mid-set. He pushes harder. He finishes the session feeling strong, disciplined, like the man he wants to be. 3 days later, 6 a.m. Same gym, empty. Nobody at the squat rack, nobody near the benches, just Daniel and the weights and silence. And something is different. Not the weights, not the program, not the time. Him. He rests longer, checks his phone between sets, drops the weight slightly, tells himself he is listening to his body. Same man, same gym, same goal. Completely different person. This is the gap that destroys more men than failure ever will. Not the gap between who they want to be and who they are. The gap between who they are with an audience and who they are without one. Because the audience version is not discipline, it is performance. And performance, no matter how convincing, cannot build a life, because life happens mostly in the empty gym. In the room with no one watching. In the decision nobody will ever know about. In the work done at 6 a.m. when the only witness is yourself. And if that version of you cannot be trusted, nothing you build will hold. Ask yourself, who are you when nobody is watching? And would you respect that man if you met him? Chapter 2. What Epictetus understood that science just confirmed. Epictetus gave his students one foundational principle above everything else. First, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. Not perform what you would be. Not appear to be what you want others to see. Be it, in private, without audience, without validation, without anyone knowing. He understood something 2,000 years ago that behavioral neuroscience has only recently been able to measure. The brain builds two completely different neural systems depending on why you do what you do. Dr. Andrew Huberman's research on motivation identifies this distinction with precision. Extrinsic motivation. Doing something for external reward, recognition, approval, or the presence of an audience activates dopamine pathways that require continuous external reinforcement to sustain. Remove the audience, the motivation collapses, the behavior degrades, the performance ends. Intrinsic motivation, doing something because of internal standard, personal value, or private commitment, builds entirely different neural architecture. It does not require an audience. It does not need recognition. It generates its own fuel. Epictetus called this the inner citadel. Huberman calls it the intrinsic motivation circuit. 2,000 years apart, describing the same thing. The man who trains because someone might be watching is building on extrinsic foundation. Remove the audience, the building collapses. The man who trains because of who he has decided to be is building on intrinsic foundation. Remove the audience. The building continues rising. This is not philosophy. This is neuroscience confirming what the Stoics already knew. The private man is the only real man. Everything else is theater. Chapter 3. The audience you carry everywhere. Here is where it gets more uncomfortable. Most men think the performance problem only applies to obvious situations. The gym when someone is watching, the meeting when the manager is present, the conversation when impression matters. But the performance goes deeper than that. Because even when you are alone, you are often performing for the imagined audience. The version of your manager you carry in your head, the judgment of people who are not in the room, the opinion of someone whose approval you have been seeking for so long you no longer remember when it started. Daniel sits at his desk at 11 p.m. Nobody home, nobody watching. And yet, he is working on the project that looks impressive rather than the project that actually matters. Not because anyone told him to, because the imagined audience, the composite judgment of everyone whose approval he has ever wanted, is running his decisions even in complete solitude. Marcus Aurelius identified this with surgical precision. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? The imagined audience causes more damage than any real audience ever could, because the real audience leaves the room. The imagined one never does. And the man who performs for the imagined audience in private has not escaped the performance problem. He has taken it with him into the only space where he could have been genuinely free. This is the deeper layer of the work, not just, who are you when nobody is watching? But, can you catch yourself performing for an audience that exists only in your own mind? Chapter 4. What private discipline actually feels like. Nobody writes about this part. Because it is not inspiring, it is not cinematic, it does not make a good story. Private discipline feels like nothing. Not the surge of the public performance, not the recognition that comes from being seen doing the right thing, not the social reward of someone noticing your effort. Just a man in a room, doing what he said he would do, with no one to confirm that it mattered. This is the moment most men cannot sustain. Not because the work is too hard, because the silence is. The silence of private discipline contains no immediate reward, no dopamine hit of recognition, no validation that the effort was seen, no external signal that the man you are building in private is actually worth building. Seneca wrote about this silence deliberately. Retire into yourself as much as you can. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those who you are capable of improving. The process is a mutual one. The retirement into yourself. That is not rest. That is the most demanding work available to a man. Because in that retirement, there is no audience to perform for. No standard except the one you set for yourself. No confirmation except the private knowledge that you did or did not do what you said you would. And for the man who has spent years measuring himself by external confirmation, that silence is the most terrifying place he has ever been. Its question for you: can you sustain your discipline when the silence contains no reward? Chapter 5. Building the Private Man. Marcus Aurelius wrote the Meditations for no one. He wrote them as private notes, a man holding himself accountable to a standard he set for himself in a journal he never intended anyone to read. The most powerful man alive, writing to himself, in private, about his failures, his weaknesses, his moments of falling short of his own standard. No audience, no recognition, no external reward for the honesty. Just the private practice of a man who understood that what he did when no one was watching was the only thing that actually mattered. This is the practice available to you right now. Not motivation, not a better morning routine, not a system for accountability. One question asked and answered honestly every day. Who was I today when nobody was watching? Not who did I appear to be, not what did I accomplish that people saw, not what performance did I deliver for the available audience. Who was I in the empty room, in the decision nobody witnessed, in the work done when the only measurement was my own standard? B.J. Fogg's research on identity-based behavior establishes this as the foundation of all lasting change. Behavior that is sustained long-term is always anchored to identity, to who the person believes themselves to be, regardless of external observation. The man who goes to the gym because he is a person who trains, not because someone might see him, shows up in the empty gym. The man who does the work because he is a person who does the work, not because the manager might notice, opens the laptop at 11 p.m. in the silent apartment. The man who holds his standard because it is his standard, not because anyone is confirming it, never needs an audience to remain himself. That man is not built in the public moments. He is built entirely in the private ones. Chapter 6. The Man Who Needs No Witness. Weeks later. Daniel at the gym, 6 a.m., empty. No one at the squat rack, no one near the benches, the same silence that used to make him smaller. But something is different. He doesn't check his phone between sets. He doesn't adjust the weight downward. He doesn't need someone to glance at him to remind him why he is here. He knows why he is here, not because anyone is watching, because of who he has decided to be in the rooms where nobody watches. He finishes the session. No one saw it. No one will know it happened. The work will not appear anywhere that generates external recognition. And for the first time, that is completely fine. Because the man who just trained in that empty gym is not performing discipline. He is living it. And there is a difference between those two things that changes everything about what gets built. Later that day, he is in a meeting. Same manager, same room, same audience that used to make him sharper. But he is not sharper because they are watching. He is exactly who he was at 6 a.m. The private man and the public man are finally the same person. And that alignment, that closing of the gap between who you are with an audience and who you are without one, is the only version of discipline that cannot be taken from you. Epictetus had no audience. Marcus Aurelius wrote for no one. Seneca retired from the most powerful court in Rome to do his most important work in private. They were not building reputations. They were building men. The same man in every room, with every audience, in every circumstance. Consistent not because someone was watching, but because no one needed to be. So here is the only question that matters. Who are you in the empty room? Not who do you want to be, not who are you when it counts publicly. Who are you when the gym is empty, when the office is silent, when the decision will never be seen, when the only witness is yourself? Because that man, the one nobody watches, is the man who wins everything, or loses it. Every single day, in private, without applause, without audience, without anyone knowing, except you. Comment below. What is the one thing you do differently when nobody is watching, and why? Subscribe to Unique Vision for the man who is done performing discipline and ready to live it.